Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children, we welcome you to our online learning initiative Ekalaiva. In our previous class, we discussed about various archaeological sites, about Tamil Brahmi inscriptions and all, isn't it? Today we are going to discuss about the material culture of early Tamil society. Archaeologists have found evidence of brick structures and industrial activities as well as artifacts through which we can gain lot of knowledge about the life of the ancient people. Artifacts such as beads, bangles, cameos, it is an ornament which is made of precious stones and where images are carved on the surface, and intaglios, an ornament in which images are carved as vessels below the surface, and other materials in these sites. Tamil Brahmi inscriptions on pottery and coins have also been unearthed. Evidences of the various art, crafts, and industries together help to reconstruct the way of life of the people. From this, we learn and understand how they might have lived. Next one, coins. Coins they used as a medium of exchange, and they were introduced for the first time in the Sangam age. The coins of Cheras, Cholas, and the Pandyas, punchmarked coins and Roman coins, all these coins form another important source of evidence from the Sangam age. Punch-marked coins have been found at places called Kodumanal and Bodinaikanur. And then Roman coins, if you take Roman coins, are concentrated in the region of Coimbatore, Alagankulam, Karur, and Madurai. In this picture also you can see Roman coins which was found in Pudukottai. These coins they were used as bullion for their metal value and also as ornaments. Now punch-marked coins. Punch-marked coins are the earliest coins which was used in India, and they were mostly made of silver and have numerous symbols punched on them. So here in this picture also you can see various symbols punched on that coin. So they are known as punch-marked coins. Now we are going to discuss about some non-Tamil sources, that is foreign accounts. In that Arthashastra, Mahavamsa, Periplus of Erythraean Sea, Pliny's Natural History, Ptolemy's Geography, Pythagorean Table, Vienna Papyrus. These are all the various foreign accounts which has lot of information about Tamil society. So non-Tamil literary resources offer lot of information on early Tamil society. The presence of this non-Tamil sources reveals the extensive contacts and interactions of the early Tamil society with the outside world. So among that, first one if we take Arthashastra, this is a classic work on economy and statecraft authored by Kautilya during the Mauryan period. It, it was also called Kavataka, which means the pearl and shells from the Pandyan country. Next one, if you take Mahavamsa, Mahavamsa, it is a Sri Lankan Buddhist chronicle. In this picture also you can see it is a chronicle composed in the Pali language, and it mentions about the merchants and horse traders from Tamil Nadu and South India. Next one, if we take Periples of Erythraean Sea, it is an ancient Greek text whose author is not known. The term Periples means navigational guide, which is used by the sailors while sailing from one place to another place. Here, Erythraean Sea, it refers to the waters around the Red Sea. So it makes references to the Sangam age ports like Musiri, Tondi, Korkai, and Kumari, as well as it has the information about the Cheras and the Pandyas. If you take next Pliny's natural history, here also you can see the picture. It was a Pliny the elder. He was a Roman who wrote natural history. It was written in Latin. It is a text about natural wealth of the Roman Empire, and he speaks about the pepper trade with India. He states that it took 40 days to reach India from Northeast Africa. He also mentioned that the Pandyas of Madurai controlled the port of Bakir on the Kerala coast. Pliny laments the loss of Roman wealth due to Rome's pepper trade with India, indication of huge volume useful of the pepper that was traded. Next one, Ptolemy's geography. Ptolemy's geography, it is a gazetteer as well as an atlas of Roman times, which contains lot of geographical details of the Roman Empire in the 2nd century. Kaveri Pumpattinam, Korkai, Kanyakumari, and Musiri are some of the places mentioned in this. Next one, if you take Teutingerian table, it is an illustrated map of the Roman roads. In this pic also you can see that it shows the areas of ancient Tamilagam, and the port of Musiri also is shown there. Next one, Vienna Papyrus. Vienna Papyrus, a Greek document which gives information about the 2nd century. It mentions Musiri's trade of olden days. So it is in the Papyrus Museum attached to the Austrian National Library, which you can see in this picture. It contains a written agreement between traders and mentions the name of ship Hermopolen and lists articles of export such as pepper and ivory that were shipped from India to Roman Empire. Next one, the Sangam age. The Sangam age, it is also known as early historic period. It is an important phase in the history of South India. This period is marked out from prehistory because of the availability of textual sources, namely Sangam literature and Tamil Brahmi inscriptions. Now next one, we are going to discuss about the Tinai. Tinai, it is nothing but a poetic theme which means a class or category and refers to a habitat or ecozone with specific physiographical characteristics. So each Tinai will be having different physiographic characteristics. This concept of Tinai is presented in the Tamil grammar work of Tolkappiyam, and it is essential to understand the classical Tamil poems. The themes of the poems are broadly defined as Agam and Puram. That is, Agam is interior and the Puram is exterior. So, Agam Tinai, it refers to various situations of family life and all. Puran Tinai It is concerned with other aspects of life. It deals with war, heroism, like that. Next one, Ain Tinai. Ain Tinai, the five Tinais or landscapes. Tamilagam was divided into five landscapes. Each region has different characteristics. They have separate deity, occupation, people, and culture. According to their environment, they follow their occupation and their lifestyle will depend upon their environment. So this classification has been interpreted by scholars to reflect real life situations in these landscapes. So the five landscapes are Kurinji, Mullai, Marudam, Neidal, and Palai. First one, Kurinji. Kurinji refers to the hilly and mountainous region. So the landscape of the Kurinji region you can see here. Next one, Mullai. Mullai is forested and pastoral region. Pastoral means the place is apt for rearing cattle. So in this picture also you can see forest location and the pastoral region. Next one, Marudam. Marudam is the fertile riverine valley. So you know already river valleys, the places near the rivers always will be fertile because of the alluvium left by the rivers, and also in this area you can see rivers and you can see how green, how fertile the area is. So Marudam refers to the fertile riverine valleys. Next one, Neidal. Neidal is coastal region. So definitely you know very well the people those who are residing near the coastal areas, their main occupation will be fishing. Next one, Palai. Palai is sandy desert region. So these are the five landscapes, that is Ain Tinai, Kurinji, Mullai, Marudam, Neidal, Palai. Okay children, today we discussed about the Sangam age. We discussed about various Tinais and all. Tomorrow we will be discussing about the political powers of Tamilagam during the Sangam age. Thank you children.